Hello there. That paragon of befuddled wokery, Joe Biden, has, it seems, woken up and smelt the coffee. Either that, or his handler has. We've seen the Tories go all populist to try and stem the loss of support they've seen over the last couple of years. Now it seems that the US President Joe Biden is doing the same thing, because he's just completed a screeching handbrake U-turn. Do you remember the wall Donald Trump had started to build between the US and Mexico to try and stop the huge number of people coming across the border into Texas? The wall Joe Biden's Democratic Party called racist and divisive? Well, Joe Biden has decided to allow Texas to put up a 20-mile stretch of border wall in Rio Grande Valley, Starr County. This comes after US Customs and Border Protection recorded 232,972 encounters on the southwest border in August alone. That's some problem. You might think there was an election coming up and Biden knows he's already on a loser, so wants to go all populist. Well, there is one in a year's time on the 5th of November 2024. Will we be seeing some fireworks? Will Trump play the successful Guy Fawkes and clear Biden out of office? For his part, Trump said this proved he was right, and taking to his own social media platform Truth, he said, "As I have stated often, over thousands of years there are only two things that have consistently worked: wheels and walls." And he added, "Will Joe Biden apologise to me and America for taking so long to get moving?" Now in 2020, Biden said he would not build any more of Trump's wall, not one more foot, were he to be elected. However, the funding was allocated for the building of the wall back in 2019. So according to Joe Biden today, he can't stop the wall being built. But when he became president in 2021, he signed an executive order not to tear the wall down, but to divert the funds elsewhere so it couldn't be completed. So have the funds been diverted, or have they just been sat there untouched ever since? What's the truth here? Now, according to a US Customs and Border Protection statement, Congress appropriated fiscal year 2019 funds for the construction of border barrier in the Rio Grande Valley, and the Department for Homeland Security is required to use these funds for their appropriated purpose. And in May this year, in a notice of determination, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that in pursuance of the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States in order to prevent unlawful entries into the United States. Now, this particular project was announced back in June, but it has taken 4 months for Joe Biden to do what Trump did and waive the 26 federal laws required to get this done. So not so much a populist U-turn as a U-turn forced on him by the law, perhaps. How refreshing to see the progressives coming up against a legal brick wall for a change. Usually the lawfare goes the other way. But when asked if he thinks it will work, Biden said no. He apparently still thinks doing nothing about this is the best way forward, much like the UK government and the EU Commission are concerned on both legal and illegal migration. But I'm not sure that all his fellow Democratic Party supporters agree with Biden about that. Not only did a Washington Post ABC poll show last week that 62% of US voters think he's doing a poor job of dealing with the southern border crisis, officials in the Democratic Party-controlled sanctuary cities of New York City and Chicago say they can no longer cope with the numbers of these people arriving in their cities. Their systems and money are buckling under the strain. For example, New York City alone has seen the arrival of more than 118,000 people from countries in Latin America and the Caribbean since spring last year, putting it into a state of emergency. And according to the Council on Foreign Relations, these people are arriving with few resources and have had to rely on the city's shelter system to a degree not seen in the past. However, the President of Mexico, López Obrador, better known as AMLO, was not impressed with Biden over this, calling it a step backward and that it does not resolve the problem. Now, the Tesla and ex-owner, billionaire Elon Musk, has previously supported building a border wall and went to get an unfiltered look at the situation himself by visiting the Texas border town of Eagle Pass. And it seems his takeaway is that everyone who can contribute must be let in. The US needs, he said, to greatly expand its immigration system so as to let anyone in who is hardworking and honest and will be a contributor. But keep out the lawbreakers, he added. However, he also said there would be a collapse in social services if illegal immigration wasn't stopped. Hasn't he heard about the global plan for wealth redistribution and the total freedom of movement? Anyway, there are about 450 to 460 miles of wall between the US and Mexico, but the border extends for nearly 2,000 miles. So I'm sure the odd extra 20 miles will just shift the problem elsewhere. Now, one added pressure on the likes of New York is Operation Lone Star, designed to secure the border. Now, this is being run by the Texas governor, Republican Greg Abbott, and in a June press release, he said that it had led to 384,000 apprehensions, 29,000 criminal arrests, and 28,000 felony charges. And they also seized 419 million lethal doses of fentanyl. But I wonder how many actually got through. But he also said that 500 buses had taken thousands of people to places like New York and Chicago since August 2022. Well, they are, as I said, sanctuary cities, aren't they? And that got me thinking back to the Martha's Vineyard event, when the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, airlifted 50 asylum seekers to the Democratic Party-controlled Martha's Vineyard in their sanctuary state of Massachusetts last September. Cue much meltdown, hypocrisy and "we haven't got room," etc. from the residents. Seems like the Democratic Party wants to virtue signal at other people's expense. 'Twas ever thus from the left. However, in a possible signal of what would happen in a UK general election, we've just seen the Labour Party unseat the SNP in the Rutherglen by-election with an extraordinary 20.4% swing. Scottish Labour's Michael Shanks got 17,845 votes, and the SNP's Katie Loudon only managed 8,399. But the turnout was low, only 37.19%, but probably typical for a by-election. But it will set alarm bells ringing within the offices of Humza Yousaf's SNP HQ. And if Labour can take back Scotland from the SNP, then the Tories really will be toast. As will the rest of us.